Hey y'all, thank you for coming to or back to Growth Rising. I'm Bird, and on this channel we just talk about all things dealing with astrology. Because to me it's like astrology, you can never learn everything. Like there's always more to learn. And something that a lot of people probably don't know about me is that I went to college and I actually majored in psychology and sociology. And, like with all of those ologies, ology just basically means the study of something. I know that's something they told us in psychology and in sociology. And so when I started getting into astrology, I was like, well, it was just a matter of time because of all of these other ologies. The ologies are apparently something that attracts me. But um okay, I'm just going to compare and some of the similarities between not between but between psychology and astrology. I might do something with sociology and astrology because it's just psychology is more on that specific person, like the mind and all, and sociology is more like on a group of people. And when you go into psychology, not psychology but astrology, you can kind of get both. um because like let's say if someone's looking at your specific birth chart, that's going to be more related to psychology because it's about you in particular, or whoever the person is. And if you're looking at the current planets for the collective, that'll be more related to sociology because it'll be looking at groups of people. And it'll just be talking about how the planets can be affecting everyone versus just one person. And granted, it doesn't affect everyone the same, but also in sociology, you know, there are still outliers. Well, in everything, there's still outliers, but it's up as far as like the majority fits into like um this category. But okay, so psychology is basically the study of the mind and mental process, the unconscious and the conscious, and like behaviors. And astrology is the study of the celestial movements of the planets, and seeing how that influence us here on Earth. So that's kind of a brief definition of what each one is. Astrology, like if you tell somebody, hey, I study astrology, or you know I look into astrology or anything with astrology, they're probably going to look at you different than if you tell them that you study psychology. Even though with psychology, some people still don't see it as a real science. They're just like, that's no big deal. But I will say, I did graduate college before 2020. And, like nowadays, more people are um, taking mental health as like more serious than they used to. So it might not be as much like, oh, psychology is not a real science, or it's just something where you can just talk to people, or you're just looking at people and just seeing some of their patterns, stuff. Because people would say stuff like that about psychology. And so, like, if you tell somebody that you study astrology, they'll probably look at you like, okay, that's different or that's new, because most people see it as mystical, something that is like so whimsical, mystical. Some people might even say like, I don't know, demonic or something. But if look more at psychology, it is a science, so it's more scientific. And they do like certain studies and go around, like getting research on stuff, or well, on people and things, and then going forward with it. So they are seen as more scientific, and it's probably even more scientific now than what it was whenever I was in college. But yeah, so psychology, it examines what shapes, like your mind, your behaviors, how you process things, like what shapes that. And astrology, it kind of has a unique perspective to that because it will look at, like it looks at more than just your mind. Also the things that you do, like your behaviors, and it can also get into like the physical, like the way that you look, or maybe even the way that you talk, stuff like that, because it's also including the celestial influences. And, there have been other people who have wanted to see, psychology and astrology and would see the similarities between them. And so we got psychological astrology and archetypal astrology. So psychological astrology basically explores the relationship between astrology and the psychological process. And archetypal astrology focuses on the symbolic and the mythological aspect of the zodiac signs and the planets. So it's like they have their differences, yeah, but they also have some similarities. Like both of them can help with self awareness. Like let's say if you're going to see a therapist, because that's like the main thing that people think about when they think about going to school with psychology. That's not the only thing that you can do. If you are going to school for psychology right now, you can do more than just be a therapist. But just getting back to the theme of the video. So both of them help you with being self-aware of yourself. There might be certain things that you do or don't do just because you might just not like them, or you might just like this. Hopefully none of it is harming anyone, but you can better understand yourself. Like if you go speak with a therapist, or if you go get a birth chart reading, that will help you to understand more of yourself. And also keep in mind that neither one, astrologer or a therapist, is going to like just tell you whatever. They're basically there to help you to see stuff about yourself, both of them. It's just that the therapist is looking more like, what are you telling me? What can I see from you and can help you realize about yourself? Not, oh, I see this and this is what you are. Just kind of trying to put it into that perspective. And an astrologer is going to be looking at your birth chart and looking at how the planets are talking to each other, what signs they're in and houses, and being able to see certain stuff from that. So it's like if they say you have your Mercury in Aries, they're not going to say, oh, you're a very quiet individual who does not like to speak up for themselves. I mean, because Mercury is a planet of, for one, communication, and Aries is the sign that is always ready to go. It's a fire sign and it's always ready to go. So you will actually probably be the type of person who will stand up for themselves quicker, or anyone else, because Aries is like, there's no time to stop and play. And Mercury is like, we got to get what needs to be said out. And so if you have them two together, an astrologer is not going to say, oh, you're a very quiet individual who people can barely even hear whenever you're speaking. No, because the two don't give off that energy. But another way that they're similar is by the archetypes and the symbols. Like let's say like the Lover and Libra. The two of them are similar because, okay, the Lover would want for the other to be happy, and Libra wants for the other to be happy, because I mean, in the birth chart, well, in the you know the natural chart, I guess I could say, Libra is over the seventh house, which is the house of others. So of course Libra will want for others to be happy, and Libra is full of love, and just like the Lover. So like the two of those will be similar. And It's also just that psychologists view astrology, as something to help people be more self-aware, but they also see it like the placebo effect comes into play, as in, like, let's say if you're getting a reading and they say that in 3 months you're going to start a business or something like that. And so with you thinking that, like, oh, I got to start a business, that's not exactly how it works. Because, okay, if you have ever gotten a reading on from an actual, legit person, not somebody who's just trying to make a quick buck, because you do have to be, very cautious. But if you have gotten a reading on, certain stuff, you will know that some of the stuff that they will tell you will be stuff that's literally going on at the moment, like at that very moment, like maybe not at that very moment, but like, let's say if you get in a reading, they'll say, oh, you are probably going to get a new job in whatever field, and like just 2 hours before you even got the reading, you got a call and was like, are you still interested in this position? Because we'd like to offer it to you, that type of stuff. So it's not necessarily the placebo effect, but when people don't try to understand something as much, they'll just, kind of throw it kind of to the back burner. But the fact that now some psychology and astrology is being integrated, you can see that people are seeing how the two are alike. But yeah, so they both do focus on, like the thought patterns, your behaviors, um, just the person that you are. And both of them just want to make sure that you are aware of who you are, so that you don't try to feel bad about who you are, because there are some things, some traits that we're just born with. But I do just feel the need to say, I think it was Freud who was like, children are born with a clean slate. But there have been other, psychologists after him who would say, children are not necessarily born with a clean slate, because they already, like, little kids show personality traits before, they get, to be teenagers or school age. They're starting to show personality traits. So they already have a personality. And if you have kids, just let me know in the comments, because I know that I've experienced this. Um, when you'll be pregnant with a child, you can already tell kind of how their personality is going to be from how they are inside of you, inside of your womb. I know I've been able to do that with my kids. Even like my child who is the fireball. Um, I could tell that he was going to be that way even when I was pregnant with him, because of how active he was inside of my womb, and also based on what people told me how my emotions were, because when you're pregnant, you're not just yourself anymore. You're yourself and that child, or if you're having multiples, those kids. But yeah, that was just a little side note. But yeah, so children have their own personalities, just, and that also kind of ties into the whole thing with the birth charts, because that helps to show some of the personality. So I hope that you have been able to find this video as beneficial, and I hope that I didn't lose anyone in me talking, because I did take notes, so I wouldn't just keep rambling on. I would actually be able to stick to, you know, what I was speaking about. But a part of me just kind of felt like I was going a little bit all over the place still. But I do hope that you were able to find, excuse me, I do hope that you were able to find something from this video. And I hope that you all have a great day. Bye.